Hello everyone and welcome to Forever Cricket on Forever Sports. And on the back of a few days ago, obviously England announced their squad for the ODI and T20 tour to South Africa, and today the Proteas have confirmed their squad. Interestingly, not going with two different squads, but rather one big 24-man squad, which is a very, very large squad for any tour really. But the reasons given is given the fact that there's obviously COVID-19 and then there's a whole sort of biosphere and stuff like that they need to remain in, that they decided to sort of just cover all their bases, and so they never have to worry about bringing anyone in or there not being something that they want within the squad not already there. Before we actually go look at the squad itself, please do consider subscribing. Bottom right hand corner there, smash a like as well. Jump in the comments, let me know what you think of the squad. So let's have a look at what will England have to be dealing with. And the big absentee, well, there's two big absentees. The first one is obviously no AB de Villiers, no return just yet. And look, it wasn't expected to be a return, but, obviously after the three-team cricket earlier this year, he didn't rule out a return. He pretty much said that, he's not focusing on it right now. He's just trying to stay fit. He's trying to get into good form and hit cricket balls and be ready. But kind of alluded to the fact that the door has not been closed on his international future, and that he would be interested in potentially willing to play for the Proteas once again, which is obviously unrealistic for maybe the World Cup in 3 years' time. Look, he'll be 39 years old, but if he keeps playing like he does, then that's fine. But, right now you've got to look at the fact that he's really, really playing well in the IPL, and next year, the T20 World Cup, he would definitely make the squad. There's no doubt about it. So, look, we don't know why he hasn't been included. We don't know if he was even a possibility. He has pulled out of the Big Bash League because he is expecting his third child. So that could very well come into it. But obviously there was no confirmation on whether he pulled out or whether he was even considered or what the situation is. Another big absentee is Chris Morris, who was, to be fair, probably one of our best players in the World Cup last year. But I think also, getting on with year in age, and he's just never managed to sort of knuckle down a spot, never been able to sort of cement a place within the national side. And look, a lot of people have been saying that he was sort of more focused on doing the whole T20 gig around the world. Which might be true, I suppose. You got something like Rassie van der Dussen who just never really did that. Always just kept plugging away and eventually got his call up. But, so we don't know what the scenario is. But if you look at the squad itself, so obviously Quinton de Kock will captain the side. And what that means is, and even regardless of whether he's captaining or not, the likes of Carl Verheyen and Heinrich Klaassen are in the squad. There is no place for them in the squad unless they are played as batsmen. And that'll be interesting to see, because obviously Carl Verheyen has been very, very good in the last couple of years. Ashwell Prince rates him very, very highly and sort of has no doubt that he will play for Proteas for many years to come. It's a difficult time really to make a Proteas squad, but at the same time there are opportunities. It's a squad which I don't think is particularly settled. You look at that lineup and you think Quinton de Kock walks into the side, Temba Bavuma walks into the side in current form, Fat du Plessis obviously walks into the side, and probably Rassie van der Dussen. So you've got four players there who are sort of cemented in the side. After that, in terms of batting, there's arguments to be made for Klaassen and Reeza Hendricks and Dave Miller, Janneman Malan, Rassie van der Dussen. I mean, Janneman Malan still hasn't cemented his place, but obviously on the back of that terrific century against Australia, you've got to think, well, he has to be there. So it's big calls to make, which is interesting when we talk about how difficult it is to select a batting lineup when we have been so poor with the bat in recent history. But, I think Temba Bavuma and Quinton de Kock are two players that work out, that play very well together. Faf du Plessis, you're not going to drop him his class. And I think that Rassie van der Dussen has just taken to international cricket like a duck to water. So Janneman Malan's definitely one for the future. It's whether you think of, it's also, you talk about balance and you talk about the need for somebody to finish the innings, which Dave Miller's role been in recent times. Whereas Janneman Malan's a much more top order batsman. You then sort of think, well, do you sort of load your top order and play the likes of Dwayne Pretorius, John Smuts, who can accelerate at the end? So there's lots of different calls to make. I mean, just the same with the bowling. You've got every type of bowler you'd want. We've got left-arm seamers, we've got right-arm seamers, we've got left-arm spinners, we've got right-arm spinners. We've got spinners who are all-rounders and we've got out-and-out spinners. The likes of Tabraiz Shamsi can't really hold a bat. So, and that's a problem, because I think if you look at Lungi Ngidi, Arnold Nokia, Kagiso Rabada, those three players are your best three seamers. You then got Adila Petlakwayo, who's an all-rounder. But if you're now playing Tabraiz Shamsi, you've now got four players who don't really contribute much with the bat, which is a bit of an issue. Not so much T20 cricket, you can get away with it, that's fine. But in one day, if there is a collapse, you're suddenly thinking that number 6 or 7 are your last people that can really bat, and after that, there's nothing. which can be a bit of an issue. So I think that's why somebody like John Smuts continues to be in and around the squad, because he is a genuine all-rounder. He offers a lot with the bat and with the ball. And I think George Lindy could start filling in that slot as well. Bjorn Forten's got a slug with the bat as well. But I think, it's finding that middle ground. I think, and that's where England is so lucky in that they've got a Moeen Ali. Adil Rashid to a lesser extent, but Moeen Ali can really do both. And that is sort of the area that we struggle, because we don't have a two bats and our top two bowlers don't offer that much with the bat. Back in the day, when you had something like a Sean Pollock who offered a lot with the bat, you had a Vernon Philander going back and offered a bit with the bat. So that is a bit of a problem, and trying to sort of find that balance on, do you go with an out-and-out spinner like some champions and attack spinner, and then you go two all-rounders and like a Dwayne Pretorius and Andy Petliquire? How do you sort of play around with the squad to get the best balance, which is the biggest thing that they have to contend with? So jump in the comments, let me know what you think in terms of how we get that balance right, who you would like to see play. As I said, please do consider subscribing, smash a like as well, turn your notifications on so that you never miss a moment with Forever Cricket on Forever Sports. My name is Stephen Pettit. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll chat to you very, very soon.